Find Your Platform host today, and we're so glad that you joined us. Our theme for this year is a grand rising. So a grand rising to you all. This month, our focus is That's How We've Never Done It. And today's message is Your Gentleness is Showing. And our talk is being given by Reverend Melinda Jacobs. Let me just tell you a little bit about Melinda. She is an ordained minister, a religious science practitioner, a spiritual leader, a holistic restorative coach, a clinical hypnotherapist, a speaker, an author, a teacher, and is committed to facilitating significant transformation, both at an individual and at a global level. With a deep sense of purpose, Melinda's mission is to guide others toward healing and personal growth. In her practice, Melinda specializes in assisting individuals through the intricate process of overcoming past traumas, promoting a comprehensive restoration of their mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. Her compassionate guidance spans various aspects of life, including health, relationships, finances, and faith, paving the way for profound personal and collective renewal. Through her well-honed techniques, Melinda offers a spiritually grounded approach, encouraging individuals to nurture compassion for themselves and for those around them. By fostering a deeper connection with their inner selves and the divine, she empowers them to discover their inherent purpose, leading to lives that are not only healthier and more sustainable, but also enriched with profound meaning and deep appreciation for the essence of life. And we are so glad and honored to have her here this morning. Thank you for joining us. And if you have any prayer requests or comments and you're here in our Zoom room, you can put them into the chat. We will include them later in the service when we provide our community spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of affirmative prayer. And now we invite you to get comfortable where you are, relax into this moment as we officially begin our service with this welcoming video.
Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be a service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly. And so it is.
And so it is. Welcome, welcome, everybody. We're going to just move into our meditation time. And oops, I appreciate your grace and patience when it comes to me working the tech today. So if it's comfortable, I want to invite you to just sit back, come into your seat, come into this moment. Take a breath with me. Just allowing yourself to let your energy coalesce into this now moment. So calling in any energy from the past that's lingering in things that have already transpired. Calling energy from the future that might be trying to work out or anticipating events to come. Just allowing yourself, like sand through the hourglass, to settle here into the breath. Into your beautiful being. Finding stillness. Allowing yourself to exhale all that no longer serves you. Connecting to that inner being of presence of the divine that's right here with you. That you are a part of. And imagining for this moment, seeing yourself through the eyes of the divine. Seeing your humanity, your physicality, and looking beyond that and seeing the giantness of your being. That part of you that is part of the whole, part of the all, part of the sacred. Imagining looking through the eyes of the divine at yourself with compassion and just that warmth of smile. Like a loving parent would look upon a child, knowing this child is in the process of growing and becoming. Appreciating what is in this moment and appreciating what's to come. Feeling your heart warming with compassion, with kindness, as you gaze at yourself through the eyes of the divine. And taking this warmth and extending it out to those around you in your community, beyond the community into the country, beyond the country into the world. Just allowing that heart smile to extend and envelop the entire planet. As if sending a kiss from the sun to every being. recognizing the divine spark within each being. Seeing the grand potential that is ready to awaken within every heart. Knowing everything is possible. Knowing it is all love. Bringing your awareness back into the room, into this moment now. Taking another deep breath in. And as you exhale, letting go of the meditation. And when you're ready, just softly blinking open your eyes. Hey. Good morning, everybody. Again, Charlene is in Colorado and she's here in my state. I got to spend time with her Thursday night and have dinner. It was such a beautiful, beautiful time together. And she has entrusted some of the tech with me today. So I am going to share our first song from Leah today. Let me find that. And make sure it's all set.
Roll away the stone. Your prayers are not in vain. You can make a change, I know, if you will roll away the stone. Tears are not in vain. You can make a change, I know, if you will roll away the stone that blocks your heart. The stone that tells you not to start. The stone that says you're wasting your time. What tells you everything's fine. Roll away the stone. Your dreams are not in vain. You can make a change, I know, if you will roll away the stone. Your hope is not in vain. You can make a change, I know, if you will roll away the stone that makes you feel small and helpless when you face it all. The stone that tells you to run, convinced that nothing can be done. Just roll away the stone. Your work is not in vain. You can make a change, I know, if you will roll away the stone. Your love is not in vain. You can make a change, I know, if you will roll away, just roll away the stone. Roll away the stone. roll away the stone. Your love is not in vain. You can make a change, I know, if you will roll away the stone.
Whew. Wow. I'm always so amazed by Leah's songs. They're so powerful. Let me make sure that that goes away. And let me get rid of this. And let me bring up this. So hello, everybody. I'm Reverend Melinda. It's so good to be back here with you again. I consider you kind of my second home from my spiritual community. So I am just so grateful to be here with you. So this month's theme is the giant gentleness. And today's topic is your gentleness is showing. So I'm just going to quickly go through the summary of what this month's theme is about. And in those flashes when we are conscious of our oneness, there's an openness, an all-encompassing love. In all the other moments in our lives, we need or really deserve giant gentleness when life happens, right? This month, we're going to remember that gentleness is actually a powerful thing, and that giant gentleness opens us up to who we say we want to be. Ugh. I know so many times in my life that I have this vision of who I want to be, and yet my humanity shows up and gets in the way sometimes. So this giant gentleness, it lets all the moments of our lives become sacred and become holy, even the sucky ones. Each week, we're going to expand our awareness of gentleness. So starting, of course, this week with ourselves. We acknowledge how we can allow all the moments to be for our highest and best. And I want to emphasize that's a choice. That's a choice. We'll move beyond judgment and embrace active compassion in our relationships with others. We breathe gentleness into our communities. Oh, deep breath into our politics and all our activities. And then finally, we're going to celebrate the moments of embodying the giant and continuing the journey. So today's topic is gentleness is not just letting yourself off the hook, giving yourself a free pass. I see this a lot where we motivate ourselves through pressure, through belittling or berating, and somehow we see that gentleness, that kindness as, well, I won't get there from here if I'm kind or if I'm gentle with myself or others. Or there's this idea that it is weak or meek. At its core, gentleness takes awareness. It takes compassion and gratitude for who you are and for where you are. And when things are tough, again, that's a choice. And again, that's the challenge of our human experience, right? Is to find that gratitude for who we are in this moment, like the meditation, that recognition of we're not done yet. We haven't grown yet to our full capacity. And so being kind, being gentle takes courage. And I promise it's a worthy exploration. Gentleness reminds you that you are so much more than you give yourself credit for. It allows the pain, the sorrow, the fear, the doubt, the humanity to be your highest good for you. Last time I was here, and I know Charlene's mentioned it a couple times, that we can get into that stage of consciousness where life's happening to us, where we feel disempowered in some way, where we feel victimized and helpless in our circumstances. But this subtle shift, this subtle choice of perspective is what can open you up and open your life up to a whole new level of possibility, open up a whole new level of potentiality, because you're choosing. Because you're choosing to see this moment, as challenging as it is, as for you. It opens you up to see things differently and to be okay with being yourself as you are in this moment. So, science of mind reminds us that there is one universal energy, call it life, call it God. It is in all of us. We are part of that one, part of that whole. And the image that I get is one that I've had a significant part of my life, but it was reiterated by Eckhart Tolle. I got to see him speak once, and he gave the analogy of, if you scoop a cup of water out of the ocean, it never stopped being ocean. Just because it got removed from the ocean, all the qualities of ocean are right there in that cup. And that's you. You're just that scoop out of the divine, out of the sacred, out of the holy. And all of the qualities of that, of the sacred, of the divine, is right where you are. As such, we are perfect, we're whole, we're complete as we are in this moment, even with the humanity showing up. Each and every moment is sacred and holy. And it may take us a lifetime to understand that, to appreciate that, to see through that lens. Part of our human experience is forgetting the essential truths that we're part of the one, part of the whole, that divinity, the power, the presence, the beauty, the love, the grace, the compassion is right here, who we are, what we are. We forget that. That's part of our human life, right? And then the practice is remembering again and again and coming back to that truth again and again. Active faith and dedication to these practices and principles bring into form the life we were meant to live. I'm going to say that again, because that when I saw that line, I was like, oof, I feel like I could live that as a practice. Active faith and dedication to the practice and the principles bring into form. It creates the life that we were meant to live. And I love that last part, we were meant to live, because I believe we were meant to be at peace. I believe we were meant to be in harmony. When I go out into nature and I see the balance of nature, and the animals and the nature and the weather and everything is in this beautiful, perfect balance. I believe we were meant to live that way. And with active faith, with a dedication to the practice of these principles, I believe we can all achieve that. I truly do. Ernest Holmes in Science of Mind says, if we are to have an active faith, the faith of God instead of merely a faith in God, our thought must be centered in universal mind, that one mind. We are convinced that under divine law, all things are possible if we only believe and work in conformity with the principles of that law. Such a faith does not spring full-orbed into being, but grows by knowledge and experience. It grows by knowledge and experience. And so each time we go out and have an experience of a connection, of something where I can see these principles playing out, it deepens that within me and it helps me rededicate and really step into that deeper faith. I've had a handful of experiences, which I would call mystical. And I'll share two of them with you. This idea of oneness, that we're part of one, part of the all, part of the whole. I'm like, that sounds like a great thought. And I can intellectually practice seeing that. But to go from a thought to an experience, because of my faith, because I practice the principles, it was profound. And so I was scuba diving, I think in Cozumel. And this moment, I don't know, maybe it was 5 seconds. I don't know. It felt like a few hours, but I know it was a short moment where I lost the boundary of my body. It's as if I became particles and I floated away and I floated out and I became part of the ocean. I felt myself unified. Now, it was just a moment, but having that experience was like, oh, okay. And so when Ernest Holmes said, such a faith does not just spring full orbed, meaning it's just right there, it grows by knowledge and experience. And so that experience helped me deepen into, yeah, I can feel myself part of all things now. My second experience was kind of similar. It was just a moment. And I was doing a sweat lodge ceremony and I was overheated, so I had to step out. And I laid on the ground. And again, I felt myself turn into particles and just become part of the earth, where there was no separation between my physical body and the earth. It was just all one. And so that image of that scoop of water coming out of the ocean, it's as if I went back into the water in the ocean. I went back into the earth and there was no separation. So I'm inviting you to consider being open to, even if it's just a moment, a divine experience, a mystical experience that helps deepen your faith, that helps you grow through your knowledge and adds to your body of experience. So this giant gentleness within us, I believe it starts by first being who you are and recognizing life happens. Part of being in this human form is living with intense experiences, intense feelings like fear and anxiety and doubt. It means you have moments of grand achievement and maybe defeat, or even a sense of failure, even though I'm not a big fan of that word because I just don't believe in a sense of failure. It's just, oh, it didn't work out the way I had hoped. You have been you for a very long time, and you have decades. I'm going to include myself in this. We have decades of other people's voices, opinions, judgments in our heads. We are bombarded with all sorts of interesting messaging. And some of those voices we took on and made them our own. And with the clients that I work with in my coaching practice, people will often come to me, and there's just one that's just resonating for this is, you're never going to make it in business. You're never going to do well in business. Don't even try. And this particular client has been battling with this message for a very long time, just bumping up into it and allowing that message to deflate her. And one day I said, whose voice is that? And she said, oh, that's my dad's voice. My dad used to say that, but then I adopted it and took it on. And so What voices are in your head? And whose are they? It hurts my body. It hurts my heart when I feel into the messages I've given myself, when I feel into the messages people have for themselves. We just haven't been taught to be kind to ourselves. And I want to invite you to consider a different conversation when you're speaking to yourself. Ernest Holmes says, there is something about you and me that is cosmic, universal, that stretches over time and space. Let us learn to think better of ourselves. Let us learn to think better of ourselves. If anything were to change everything on this planet, I think it starts there. Starting to recognize that we are that individualized expression of the divine. And that, yes, some moments in life just absolutely suck. And both of these statements are true and are true at the same time. You are not just sacred and holy some of the time, or only when you feel good, or when you come into your spiritual community, or when you go away from people in your families and go into nature. No, all that you are is love in form. And perspective is everything. So just this simple shift of perspective from suffering this life, this moment, this experience, this situation, to everything. Everything is working out for me. Ah, beloved, that's going to open you up and allow you to step into something greater. That greater thing that you actually were meant to be and meant to live. But my second point is turning compassion around. Compassion comes from awareness, and we hear a lot about compassion for others. Be kind, be gentle, be giving, be loving towards others. And Jack Kornfield says, if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. We are really taught collectively as a society to do well for others. But again, back to my point of how we talk to ourselves, there's some interesting messaging about including yourself in that. Oh, it's selfish, or it's self-centered, or this idea of humbling ourselves in some way, but that doesn't mean belittling. And to recognize, yeah, we all have our life story. We all have the series of experiences that led us from where we were to who we are in this moment. We all have done things that maybe we're not so proud of. We all have that. And in order to live our lives fully from this point forward, we get to move beyond what we've done. We get to move beyond that. When I work with clients around forgiveness, I have a series of 5 really powerful forgiveness statements, and I'll just share a couple with them. Is the first one is, I forgive myself for not knowing better at the time. We create separation within ourselves when we judge ourselves for what we've done. Oh, I made that choice. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Oh, I said yes to that. Or, oh, I can't believe I said no to that. And we create that separation within ourselves. But if we can say, oh, I forgive you. I forgive you for not knowing better at the time. I use the analogy of getting mad and angry at a second grader for not knowing calculus. Like, why would I get mad at someone who didn't know how to do something? I can absolutely extend that kindness to a child. Can I extend it to myself? Are you willing to let yourself off the hook and start practicing compassion towards yourself for the things that didn't go well in the past? So that collectively you can gather yourself here and move forward from this moment into what you were meant to be, into that compassionate place. When you say everything is sacred, everything is holy, it's all God, that means laying on the couch, eating a bag of chips, binge watching Netflix. That's a sacred, holy thing, right? Being moody, being tired, being overwhelmed, going into paralysis and not doing the things you said you would do, not following up on your commitments. You're still sacred. You're still holy in that moment. It's not just when we're good. It's not just when we're checking the boxes and doing all the things and being all pious and holy. It's not that. It's in our messiness. And so you get to extend compassion to yourself in those moments. And remember that you are that acorn seed. You are that child looking at yourself through the eyes of the divine, recognizing that you're not done yet. And the last piece is showing yourself some gratitude and love. A daily practice. A daily practice. Pam Grout says, I would like to suggest that there is nothing more important that you could ever do for yourself than to tune into the frequency of gratitude and joy. I used to get so angry when someone said happiness is a choice. I'd get so mad about that because I wasn't happy, because I didn't understand that it was a choice. I was still in that place of consciousness of life is happening to me, and I wasn't taking personal responsibility for myself yet. There's a lot of people that are still there. And you know what? We can just love them, bless them. And if it's you, you could love you and bless you for where you're at. It's just part of the journey. And what I know is true, what I absolutely know is true, is there is always, always, always something to be grateful for. Always. In Viktor Frankl's book, A Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote about, it always brings a little bit of a tear. He wrote about being in the concentration camps and the conditions and what he had to do to survive. And what was amazing was in the midst of that, they found purpose. They didn't have books, they didn't have pens and paper, they didn't have that, but they had their educations and they started teaching each other. They started having classes. We can always look at the situation, and it's so easy to say, this is what's wrong with us. It's so easy to look at the atrocities and go, this is not okay. And I want to invite you to begin to think, and it's so easy to find something to be grateful for in this moment. It might be a shift of a perspective. It might be that you have to pay attention to something else. Now, people can at times call this spiritual bypass, like, oh, I'm just going to look at all the good and I'm not going to look at the bad. And for some people, that might be necessary. What I invite you to consider is stretching your ability to hold the container for both. And in this practice of stretching yourself in the container, you begin to hold compassion for yourself and all your humanity and your divinity. I went to Italy last year, and the most beautiful, beautiful buildings. And I went into this church, and it was a church for Archangel Michael. And the architecture, I mean, it was just breathtaking. I could barely move and I could barely breathe because the beauty. And how did they figure out how to do that? And there were different colored stones, and it created this beautiful patterns and ceilings higher than I could have ever imagined. How did they do that? How is that possible? And so I was overwhelmed by what we as humanity have created that is so beautiful. This house of God, this house of worship, this house of sacred and holy. And then could feel myself being stretched to the point where I literally felt like my soul was ripping to hold what we've done in the name of the atrocities, the injustice, the pain, the torture, the inhumane, the unthinkables. I felt myself being pulled apart to hold all of it. That's a practice. We can get so micro-focused, hyper-focused, and fixated on just what's good. We can get hyper-fixated on just what's bad. I want to invite you to start stretching yourself so that you can show yourself gratitude, so that you can show yourself love in this moment for something, anything. Because every time we hold ourselves in that place of gratitude, in that place of wonder, of the beauty and the mystery of life itself, we shed a little more light into our life, into our bodies, and into this world. Some of you may know Dr. Masaru Emoto did these amazing studies of water. And he would write a word and put it on this water, and he would freeze the water. And the energy of the word would impact the crystals that were formed. And then he would take pictures of the water crystals. And the words of love, beauty, kindness, compassion created these beautifully symmetric, snowflake, gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful crystals. The words of war, hatred, anger, hurt, grief, loss, sorrow, they weren't well formed. They were not symmetrical. There was nothing beautiful about them. Words have power. And in this teaching, I mean, that's all the basis of this teaching, is to recognize the power of our words. And so when we can start aiming those words at ourselves that hold those frequencies of love, of kindness, of compassion, I mean, we're depending on where you look, 60 to 80% water. That's what we are. What we think about ourselves, what we tell ourselves on a moment by moment, day by day basis impacts us. I want to invite you to send more love, more kindness to yourself. And so this idea of building a culture of giant gentleness, a culture where you're comfortable in your own skin and in your own mind, where you feel safe and loving. A culture where you're allowed to mess up without it being the end of the world, where you allow yourself your humanity. A culture where you love yourself more often than not. You don't have to get this perfect. You don't have to do it 100% of the time. Just tip the scale. And when the scale tips the other way, you're okay. It's okay to do that too. Today in this world, you get to be yourself. And I know for some people that doesn't feel safe yet. I just need to say that. I need to hold the reality of both is true. It's absolutely safe for all of us to be exactly who we are, except for when it's not. There's the totality. And so, depending on your situation, depending on where you are, I invite you to start letting go of the mask and being yourself in the privacy of your own space, in the privacy of your own mind. See yourself running free and abandoning all limitations, even if it's just here, where you see and feel that freedom of being you. You get to fail. You get to succeed. You get to have good days. You get to have bad ones. You get to say what you want. And you get to hold boundaries as to what doesn't work for you. Life is so full, so rich. And we forget who we are because that's the human condition. And we get to remember again and again and again and again. I want to invite you to let ideas of possibility, of generosity, of kindness be that which move you and inspire you, and how you're in relationship with yourself and with the world. This is your giant gentleness. This is your grand rising. And so if you haven't done yet so, please put into the chat prayer request, please. Let's go ahead and move into prayer. So if it's comfortable, just closing your eyes and coming back into that place, whichever view feels better to you, looking at yourself through the eyes of the divine, or being in that place of, I'm not quite yet cooked. I'm not quite yet done. I haven't quite met my full potential, either place, but feeling the love of the divine shining down upon you. And just recognize in this moment that we are all that scoop of the ocean. We are all that oneness right here in our individual self-expressed lives. The divine expressing itself individually as each and every one of us. And I know that there is no separation. I know that to the core of my being. That we are part of the one, part of the whole, that there is no separation. That love, that divine, that presence of the holy, of the sacred is right here with me, right here with you, right here within the community, right there in the midst of all the conflict is that love, is that divine. And what I know in this moment is that we are meant for love. We are meant for health. We are meant for abundance. We are meant to live in harmony. And I just know and see that occurring right now for each and every being on this planet, in each and every place of conflict. Where there is struggle, I know there is grace. Where there is conflict, I know there is resolution. Because love, grace, kindness, compassion is the fundamental container in which all of this is playing out. And I am praying and knowing for Uncle Mike, Jeff, and Mark, I am knowing health. That their cells know that original blueprint of well-being, of vibrancy. I know that their body temples know exactly what they need. And I see and know them supported in this moment, in every single moment. And for Rachel, Michelle, and Christy, harmony. That beautiful harmonic love radiating in, through, and around them in this moment, in every moment. For our country, I know and hold peace and understanding, cooperation, kindness, hands extending to the other. For our world, I am knowing healing in this moment, in every moment. I know love is present in every heart, whether it's demonstrated or not. I know in every situation, love heals all things. We are that scoop of the ocean. That giant gentleness resides within us all. And in this moment, I see us letting those giants out. And that warmth and that kindness and that compassion just blankets all of us. And we can rest in that. And so for all the rest of the good, known and unknown, seen and unseen, I'm just knowing it all unfolding perfectly in that right and perfect timing for us all. And for all of this, I am so grateful to have the moments of remembering, to have the little peek behind the curtain of the truth of our being. Knowing these words are heard, knowing the universe says only one thing, and it is yes, 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 and yes. I release this into the universe, knowing it's done, knowing we are whole, and allowing it to be, and so it is. Okay, let me find. Let me find. Where did it go? Okay. Somehow it went away. I will go back to one minor technical glitch for the day. We can deal with that. Let me pull up the email in which our lovely Leah sent us. There it is. There it is. Okay. Let me share. Oops. Okay. Perfect.
Hello, everyone, and thank you to the UUWF as well as the ICUUW for your invitation to be part of this event. Specifically, thank you, Antoinette, and always to Emma's Revolution for bringing the musical truth in every situation. I appreciate you, and I will see you soon. Finally, I want to thank Miss Gorman for writing this poem and for the organizers of this event for giving me the opportunity to visit with it more closely. This is the second time her work has inspired a song in me, and I appreciate that chance to collaborate in a sense. It's about time we have a choice. It's about time you hear our voices ringing out. We're singing out loud as we rise up. Oh, we've had enough of sitting so silent, so we rise up, soaring above the noise and the violence. It's about time we have a choice. It's about time you hear our voices ringing out. We're singing out loud as we rise up. Oh, into our own and into our power as we rise up. Sisters, this is our moment. This is our hour. It's about time we have a choice. It's about time you hear our voices ringing out. We're singing out proud as we rise up, as we rise up.
Thank you so much, Melinda. And thank you for sharing Leah's music. Oh, what a message, what a prayer, what a meditation we had today. Wow, so good. Now is the time to bless the donations that are shared today. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation. So we are a tithing community. The donations shared with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. Let me see if I can figure out something here. Do we have a slide? Yes, yes, we do. Okay. And I'm going to pin myself. Okay. Your donation helps our center, our CSL home organization, as well as organizations that help support our vision of creating a world that works for everyone. We're always looking for suggestions of organizations that we should consider. And if you would like to make a suggestion, you can go to our website, cslleesburg.org, and click our website and click. You can make a suggestion there, and you can also give there. If you look at our screen, you'll see that there are many ways to give. You can text your donation amount, you can Cash App, you can mail, you can PayPal, you can visit, and all of those ways are wonderful ways to give. And now take your donation either in your hands, hold it to you, or just in spirit, holding that intention of giving in your heart. And we thank you for your support, no matter how you're giving. Join us in our affirmation of oneness. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. And therefore, I'm a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And there is another slide showing our classes for today. And when that's up, I'll share with you our announcements. Today, I am leading a class, 1 p.m. Eastern. You can sign up at cslleesburg.org. I hope you can make it. It is a drawing class, and you don't have to have any artistic ability whatsoever. It is about a process of processing what's in your mind, thoughts, beliefs, feelings, and emotions. And as we draw, we create changes and new neural pathways in our mind to help us come to a new realization or new understanding. And so it's a very powerful technique, and I hope you will enjoy this class I'm offering where you can just learn it alongside me. I'm not an expert, but I'm still learning. And we also have alternating Saturdays, a dream study. And this is another way to really get in touch with your subconscious mind as it communicates with you. The insights we have are amazing, amazing. People come away with from the dream study going like, what? This was a silly dream, and yet it had so many layers of meaning. So I hope you will come to that. And now we're at the end of our service. Again, we express gratitude for Melinda Jacobs, for the meditation, and the music of Leah, and the prayers and everything. Place your hands over your heart and say, I am love, giving yourself that gentleness, that reminding that gentleness of spirit in you. Look kindly at your screen. Look at all the people in the room right now. Look around your room. Maybe there's someone's in your space. Maybe there's a photo of somebody, and gaze at that person, that photo, the people, and say, you are love, offering that acknowledgement. You are love. And now just realizing, as Melinda did, the world around us, it's all love. It's all love. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you have a moment to stay in our chat at Zoom, come back. We'll share our pearls, our little nuggets of wisdom that spoke to our hearts and minds If you're a visitor, please stay and introduce yourself. We'd love to have the opportunity to officially greet you. And if you have to leave with us, we know you will have a day filled with love, joy, and blessings. Thank you for joining us today.